Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show, Car Edition. I hope everybody is having a great Friday. It's not Friday. Today is Thursday. I hope everybody is having a great Thursday. I hope you're ready to get this day started. We just finished on Instagram. My co-host, Miss Lynn Demons, still not able to join us on Facebook, so I am committed to coming on to give you a recap of the Fearless Morning Show while we're on Instagram for those who don't have Instagram. And since yesterday, first of all, JoJo, my name is Yamicha JoJo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist, so what better place to be than here with me. Thank you guys so much for joining the Fearless Morning Show, being with us for over a year. I greatly appreciate all that you do. And we are on Instagram because Facebook will not allow us to be great, but that's okay too. So yesterday, I wanted to come on and give you the finals from yesterday, because yesterday was the 10 successful keys for clarity and execution. So I gave you the 5 yesterday, and I want to finish those 5 up today so you wouldn't have to wait till this evening. So I'm going to list the 5 that we talked about yesterday and then finish with the other, the final 5 this morning. So yesterday, the 10 successful keys for clarity and execution. Number 1 is choices. Weigh them carefully. You've got to weigh them carefully. Number 2, if you got to value your differences. Just because you think you're going to get there one way doesn't mean you're going to get there that way. Number 3 is you got to overcome your internal struggles. Positive self-talk. If you don't have that, this journey is null and void. Period. Vision. You got to see where you are going. If you can't see where you're going, then the journey is going to be really hard. Because if you just out here all willy-nilly, as Miss Margaret says, then you're wasting your time. And number 5 is you got to verify and follow up with yourself. If you can't follow up with yourself, then you working to accomplish what you want to do is useless, because you're not doing it. You're not holding yourself accountable. And if you're not going to hold yourself accountable, you can't get mad at somebody else when they're not doing what they're supposed to do because you're not doing what you need to do. So think about that. All right. So here's the final 5 for the 10 successful keys for clarity and execution. Number 6 is patience and diligence. Patience, faith, and diligence. On this journey, you've got to have patience with yourself. You are literally changing your thought process, your mindset, generational habits, and it's going to be difficult. I never said it's going to be easy, but if you are diligent and you know where you can see your vision and you know where you want to go, then you will do the work. You will do the work. So patience, faith, and diligence is number 6. You've got to be patient with yourself. It's not going to happen overnight. You are changing your thought processes. That's not going to be easy. And you got to realize when somebody joins you on this journey or you're talking about it, they may not be where you are, and their mindset may not be where yours is, and you can't get angry with that. So just be diligent that you are going to where you need to be, and be patient with yourself. The 10 successful keys for clarity and execution. Number 7, performance is required. It is an action. If you want something different, you're going to have to do something different. You can't merely talk about it, wish about it, pray about it. I believe in prayer. I'm a firm believer that Jesus can work a miracle, and you see a miracle every single morning that you wake up. Jesus performs a miracle because he woke you up and he did not have to. So when you think about that and you expect Jesus to continue to work additional miracles, which is fine, but sometimes the miracle that he's wanting you to work is for you to do the work that he told you to do the first time. So performance is required. There's got to be some action, period. So please make sure that you're willing to do the action of what you're setting out to do. Number 8 is don't assume. You need to ask. So what happens when you assume? You make a butt out of you and everybody else. So don't assume anything. Always ask the question. So here's what I always say. I tell people, if you don't tell me, then I'm going to assume that what I know is correct. And if you don't tell me anything different, then I'm for sure going to be correct. So don't assume, ask. Google will be your best friend. Better yet, ask somebody else who is doing what you want to do or trying to go, if it's a thought process you're trying to get to, or physically with the job, or, whatever it is, ask somebody. And it doesn't have to be all formal. It can be, hey, how'd you do this? Something very simple. If you make it formal, hey, that's cool. But with me, if anybody has a question about anything, all you got to do is say JoJo, and I'll be more than glad to answer your question. Number 9 is always be honest. If you can't be honest with yourself, and that's the biggest thing on this fearless journey, you're going to have to get downright up front, close and personal with yourself about your journey, where you're going, what you want to do, and you've got to be honest with yourself. If you're not willing to be honest with yourself, then it's just, you might as well not even start the journey, because you're on this journey. You're going to introduce yourself to yourself, and you're going to learn so much about yourself you didn't even know. And number 10 is you got to keep your word to yourself. If you can't keep your word to yourself, it's hard to hold other people accountable, because you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to do. So keep your word to yourself, because if you don't, then there's no need starting a journey. Here's some things about starting the journey. Boy, these people are angry in the school parking lot this morning. Okay, here's some things about this journey, on this Be Fearless journey. It is all about self-awareness, self-love, reality of self. And then once you get through all of that and get to the clarity of who you are, what you stand for, what you will not stand for, then it becomes easy. The path becomes easier, and the accountability for yourself becomes easy. Because here's my thing. You can't hold me accountable. It's hard for me to hold somebody else accountable for something they didn't do, when I can't hold myself accountable for what I didn't do. So think about that. Those are 10 keys you need for clarity and execution. So I will be sharing those out I will be typing those out for anybody that is interested, that would like to have them 10 successful keys for clarity and execution, so you can get to where you need to be on this fearless journey, guys. I thank you so much for joining us on the Fearless Morning Show. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, we do have a YouTube channel. We have over 300 shows where they can binge watch them over there. So please make sure you share them and like and subscribe to the page and like it and share it with somebody who you know who needs to live past crazy. As a result of working with the only Live Past Crazy specialist, you are able to identify exactly what is causing a crazy in your life, and then develop a specific blueprint to help you to live past crazy. I promise that there is life beyond crazy. Go over to livepastcrazy.com, sign up for our newsletter so that you can stay up to date with all the great stuff that we have going on. Miss Lynn Dimmons, who is my co-host, is still not able to join on Facebook. We may try it tomorrow or later today to see if we can get on. But she is America's #1 rebound coach. Yes, she said it, America's #1. So make sure you check out my girl Lynn if you're ready to invest, to get your budget together and stop living crazy in your finances. But guys, I thank you so much for joining the show. Today's Fearless Thought: 10 successful keys for clarity and execution. Hey, Miss Boo, how you doing? Hey, Shay, how you doing? So I'm going to list them right fast for you guys. The 10 successful keys for clarity and execution. I did 5 yesterday and 5 today. Choices. Weigh them carefully. Number 2, value your differences. Just because you think you're going to get there one way doesn't mean you're going to actually get there. Number 3, overcome your internal struggles. Positive self-talk is essential. Number 4 is your vision. See where you are going. If you can't see where you're going, it's going to be difficult to get there. Number 5 is verify and follow up with yourself. If you can't follow up with yourself, you're going to have a hard time holding somebody else accountable. And when you can't hold yourself accountable. Number 6 on this journey, y'all, you've got to be patient. You got to have faith, and you got to be diligent. If you can't be patient with yourself and be diligent, that you can see where you're going, but it's going to take you a minute to get there, there's no need starting a journey, because what you're going to find is you're going to keep starting over. And then if you don't have that positive self-talk, you're going to find yourself in a rut. Your crazy is going to become stronger, meaning the chaos in your life is going to become stronger. So think about that. Just be patient with yourself and be diligent that you're on the right path, going to where you need to go. Number 7, performance is required. You've got to do action. If you say, I'm praying about it, prayer is an action anyway. So that means you need to do the action. So make sure that you're praying. I read this book in my one of the quotes, it's called If Beale Street Could Talk. It said, some things that people don't want to deal with, they leave in the hands of the Lord. I love that quote. And that simply means they don't want to do the work of it. So they always saying, oh, I'm going to pray about it. And then they do nothing about it. So number 8 is don't assume, go ask. That's just a given. Number 9 is always be honest. Be honest with yourself and those around you. And number 10, keep your word to yourself. Keep your word to yourself. Because if you can't keep your word to yourself, you're going to find it hard to keep your word to other people. All right, guys, that is it for the Fearless Morning Show. Thank you so much for joining. I greatly appreciate you. I will see you here bright and early tomorrow morning at 7:15. Make sure you share the video, because sharing is caring. Have a good one.